So I have a better way we can protest, and nobody has to do the exempt, and nobody has to worry about doing something that they're worried about, going to jail for. Sorry. And I would say the reason there's so much focus being put on this and on the board, just all the stuff they want to redirect, because this is kind of important. This is something they didn't want us to know. So, and people have heard about this, but I've never quite understood it. Now I do. The corporation. The corporation is the United States, which is only the District of Columbia, the swamp. Makes sense. They are the corporation. They are the slave masters. They are not considered the United States of America. So D.C. and its territories, which would be like Puerto Rico, they're not considered the United States of America, which is the constitutional republic. The constitutional republic, the United States of America, is the 50 states. So, yeah, we've had foreign land ruling over us. Should that be any big surprise with everything else? So there's two distinct jurisdictions. There's the U.S. and there's the USA. And the USA is the 50 states, and that's the constitutional republic. But D.C. is not part of that, which is why I guess they rule over us like democracy. But it's because we fell for it. Really, we were tricked. The confusion comes in for people because there's so many people that argue back and forth about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court did in the late 1800s. They ruled that about no income tax. The confusion comes in for people. This is why the Constitution should have never been ratified. That's when it all got effed up, in my opinion. But the confusion comes in with the 16th and the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment is about slavery, which really the swamp's been keeping us enslaved. I'll explain. And then the 16th Amendment, which is about taxes. But President Taft had said that the American citizens shouldn't be taxed. The government should. Isn't that funny? Because it's us that's paying for everything, right? But, it's upside down world, as everything is. So I would say that they want to keep sure they tell you all the fear and scare and Not saying that there's not something to pay attention to there, but not like they're making it. Not like Kennedy and all them are making Stu Peters. Like, why aren't people explaining this, huh? Because they don't want you to know this. They didn't want any of us to know it. So you can go to Weiss and Associates. That's where I looked this up. They have some short videos on this on YouTube too, and explains it very clearly. Because I would hear this the past couple years, and I was always getting so confused by it. But they give the actual statute, so this is all true, and this is what they say. American nationals made an election to join the U.S. tax club. Yeah, right. Like we're joining, the country club. Yeah, don't we all really want out of this club? There's probably no other club I've ever wanted to leave more than this tax club. Because you know what? You know how George Carlin said it's a big club and you ain't in it? Oh no, we sure are. We're just the slaves in it. Okay. When you filed your first Form 1040 individual income tax return, you became part of the U.S. tax club. As the federal income tax is a tax upon the national government and those who live and work in federal territory, the U.S. Congress could allow those in the 50 states of the Union to voluntarily join their corporate entity. Yeah, don't want to be joined to the corporate entity anymore. But in order to stay in alignment with the 13th Amendment, which the 13th Amendment is, I think that's the one about slavery, they also had to allow those American nationals the opportunity to terminate that election and exit the U.S. tax club. So it doesn't mean you're exiting the U.S., you're exiting the foreign territory of the United States District of Columbia tax club and returning to the United States of America Constitutional Republic. So this goes on to say I think you can find these forms for free, but I'm not sure. I basically just went on this Weiss and Associates because they have this whole like frequently asked questions. So it says here, the first time you filed the 1040, you elect to join the tax club. Unfortunately, we are led to believe this is law and we are all required to be tax-paying citizens. This is far from the truth, and we will legally get you revocated and removed from the IRS file. And they go into all of this. It doesn't affect your Social Security, your driver's license, none of that. It gets you revocated from paying state and federal. So I would say the best way to protest is so that people aren't worried about, oh, they're going to come and take me away or put me in jail, is do this. If you go through Weiss and Associates or whoever, or see if you can get them online for free, it says it takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks after all the paperwork is done. This site said that the price is different for everyone because if it's a whole family, they have to do. But I think you can find. I think there's some people I've heard in the past couple years who have done it for free, but I'm just not sure about that. But that may be the way to go. Everybody's fill those out, and that'll keep those 87,000 IRS agents busy because they're the ones it goes to, and then they have to remove us. And then that's it. Then I looked at these frequently asked questions, and it says, how do I get my employer to stop withholding federal taxes from my check? Well, that's besides putting exempt, but we have a W-4 process for this. It will provide you with the necessary documents to give your employer the stop withholdings. Once you submit the correct documentation and become revocated, you're removed from the tax system. The IRS must legally remove you from the federal income tax system. Yep. And once the ROE is revocation of election has been filed and completed, you will no longer be obligated to pay any tax that is reported on or through the filing of your Form 1040 or any IRS form. And that was an answer to if you have to pay state income taxes. They said the only thing that you may have to pay taxes on is anything back from like anything you still owed on. If you did it in the middle of the year, you filed for this revocation, then that when you weren't back to being part of the republic, you still have to pay for that. So what really bothers me is I don't see how any of this is legal. I'm just not fond of lawyers because of all this playing games. Because this is so much game playing with our Constitution. But I think that would be a great way to tell the swamp, you know what? We don't trust any of you on the Republicans or the Democrat side. So we're going to say goodbye to the United States foreign land of the swamp and return back to the free land, the constitutional republic, the 50 states of America that are free. Yes. Look into it. That's what's going on. It won't affect your passport, none of your driver's license, none of that. What it will do, though, is your letter on any bills you get or your Social Security card. It'll go from that all cap letters to like how you would type, just your first letter, capital, and the rest. Yeah, when they have you in those caps, it means you're part of the corporation. You're a slave to the corporation. So we're in the club. We're just we're the ones that are the slaves in the club, put it that way. So let's all leave the club and fill out this paperwork or go with one of these sites like Weiss and Associates who do cite all of these legally, the statutes, they cite them. And then let's get the hell out of DC's enslavement system. I'm all for that. What do you think?